Hello and welcome to Camp Xbox, where we talk about all things Xbox, new and old, and on today's agenda is the original Xbox game, Second Sight.
What do you do?
They're all dead. He's a psycho killer.
You're just confused.
You saved my life, John. Thank you.
John.
I'm your friend.
You are.
I'm the only friend you have.
All right, real easy.
Second Sight was published by Codemasters and developed by Free Radical Design, who is most famous for making the first-person shooter series Time Splitters, which is a classic franchise of the 6th generation of consoles. Second Sight is their first attempt of breaking into a new IP with a third-person shooter that not only offers gunplay, but offers psychic powers to take down enemies and sneak around with. In Second Sight, you play as John Vadek, a powerful psychic who has just woken up in a lab and has amnesia and is unable to recollect how he got there. You traverse a series of levels discovering Vadek's past and figuring out how to get out of the situation he's in. It's akin to a sci-fi B-movie plot, and it's very enjoyable, always keeping you on your toes with some extremely silly twists and fun sci-fi tropes. It might take itself a bit too seriously sometimes, but it never gets to the point where it's annoying. It works perfectly within the context of the game. Now, the thing that doesn't sell me on the story is the character design. It's a mix somewhere between cartoony and realistic, with some really exaggerated emotions and eyes that are downright scary. Nobody ever quite looks right in this game, and I feel like this game is really trying to sell you on this story, and it really doesn't help when the characters look like this. Otherwise, graphically, I actually really enjoyed it, especially in its level design. It's maybe the oddest part of the game because it feels like sort of a genre bender. It actually kind of blew my mind in the very beginning of the game. You actually are really forced to try to sneak through hallways and traverse this level design, and it feels like a survival horror game. You can even set the camera to fixed camera angles, even though I wouldn't recommend it. You need to take this path to get keys, and there's even a 3D map that you can look at, similar to Metroid Prime, and you can use that to try to traverse the levels. The scope and depth of these levels were actually kind of refreshing for what I was feeling was a standard third-person shooter. Levels look nice, and the rooms you go into have great detail for the time. Now, it does feel linear, and I know that's going to turn some people off, but honestly, I don't mind that in the slightest for a game like this. It all works well to benefit the story. There are a few levels that stick out like a sore thumb though, and these are escort missions where you have to use your mental powers to charm a side character and lead them through a level. But anytime they hear a gunshot or you attack somebody, they get scared, and then you have to use your charm powers to get them back over to you. And it's going to be a constant back and forth like this for the whole level, and it really was one of the most annoying things, and those levels are the only really bad levels in this game though. The main focus, other than the story, is definitely the psychic powers. Vatic has a lot to offer at his hands. He can protect himself and control someone else. He's able to pick up objects with his mind and shoot psychic beams. A lot of these are used for light puzzle solving, which I really enjoyed. I like it because it felt like it was easy to lean on gunplay, because most enemies will die just by a few shots. So when the level was making you use your psychic powers to solve puzzles, you really could understand the power that was at your hands. It got me to really start using some of it, especially the shooting psychic energy power that could easily take out enemies. It was a lot of fun. There's also another ability allowing you to heal yourself. Now, I did find this one to be just a little bit broken, taking away some challenge when I could just run to a corner in the middle of a firefight and just heal up. It's definitely not a challenging game. I felt like I made it to the end with no difficulty at all. In the end, I do want to say that overall, it was an enjoyable experience, but something that didn't wow me. I don't think it played enough with the psychic powers or asked you to use them in combat enough. With a game with such a weird concept, it feels like it holds itself back to be more palatable for a wider audience. Sure, you get odd mechanics like fully usable computers, but then you'll get scenes that are just cover shooters. It's too held back to be anything incredible. What I find surprising in this game is actually on the 1001 video games to play before you die list, and I honestly can't really see why. I think it has the ability to be a cult classic, but just isn't quite there yet. There is a fun game here though, and something that does stick out with you is the oddball story and what it does differently. I was enjoying it enough to see it all the way through to the end, and the final levels are definitely cliche, but it was definitely a different time in gaming, and these tropes and cliches weren't quite overused yet. I did always see this game when I was younger in the bargain bin, and I kinda get that. But then again, at a cheap price, I think this game is definitely worth your time. On my ranking list, I'm going to go ahead and put it at number 7. I think I'd go back to this a little sooner than I would Haunted Mansion, but Herbs is a much more replayable game. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe, and if you enjoyed this game when you're younger, or if you're looking to get back into it, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Shout out to Nestor Amaya. He actually left a comment on my Herbs video for me to review this game, and I'm really happy that I got to play it, so thank you for that recommendation. And I hope all of you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you here next time at Camp Xbox.